Lighthouse Hearts by Voice of Sophia. When the city fell silent after a week of endless rain, Daniel Knight stood before the glass walls of his penthouse, staring at a skyline that no longer impressed him. He had money, power, and the kind of success people wrote about, yet all he could feel was an ache he couldn't name. Down below, the streets shimmered with puddles reflecting lonely lights, until one sound broke through the static of rain, a violin. He followed the music under an old bridge where a young woman played in the cold, her bow trembling but her notes strong. That night, fate introduced him to Maya Collins, a woman who had lost much, but not her fire. When she played, even the city seemed to breathe again. Later, in a small cafe filled with the smell of cinnamon and wet coats, she told him her dream: to reopen abandoned libraries, forgotten classrooms, and the little planetarium that once showed children the stars. Daniel listened, and for the first time in years, something in him wanted to build again, not towers or profit, but meaning. Together, they started Project Lighthouse, a mission to revive lost community spaces. The first was a dusty reading room by the harbor. They cleaned, painted, brewed tea, and opened the doors to anyone who needed a place to belong. People came, the lonely, the tired, the dreamers, the young. Maya greeted them all with the same smile. "You don't need to give money," she said. "Just bring a story." Their idea spread, but so did opposition. Victor Hale, Daniel's ruthless rival, mocked them in newspapers and on television. "You can't scale kindness," he sneered. Inspectors showed up with fake citations, but Maya turned every obstacle into an opportunity, turning a failed fire inspection into a free safety workshop for teens. Even the inspectors left wiping tears from their eyes. Emma loved Jake with all her heart, until she found out he was cheating with her best friend. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She planned. First, she vanished, no calls, no texts. Then she turned every memory they shared into silence. And when he finally missed her, she sent one letter. In it, she wrote, "This isn't revenge, Jake. It's your reminder of what you destroyed. I'm not coming back, ever." Years later, Jake still kept that letter. And Emma, she learned that the sweetest revenge is peace. As months passed, Daniel worked beside her until exhaustion took him down. He collapsed one rainy night, fever burning, and woke to find Maya beside him, reading softly by lamplight. Her violin rested nearby like a guardian. "You don't owe me anything," she whispered. "We owe the world better." He realized then that he wasn't just rebuilding buildings, he was rebuilding himself. When Victor dragged them to court, accusing them of trespassing and theft, the people they had helped filled the courtroom. Maya stood tall, speaking of children who learned again, of elders who found purpose. The judge looked over the crowd and declared, "Belonging is a public good." The room erupted in applause. Afterward, Victor came to Lighthouse at sunset. "You're making me the villain," he said quietly. Maya smiled. "You wrote that role yourself." Even he couldn't argue. Then came the storm that would test them all. The city grid failed, plunging entire districts into darkness, except Lighthouse. Powered by solar panels, it became a beacon once more. People flooded in, charging phones, reading by lanterns, storing medicine in coolers. "It's not just power," a small boy said. "It's the feeling that we're all on the same team." When dawn returned, Daniel looked out across the rooftops and saw 100 small lights, people placing candles in their windows. Inspired by what Lighthouse had begun years later, the city had changed. New reading rooms, open studios, and safe houses carried the Lighthouse symbol.